Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Europa Universalis. And let's take a quick look around to make sure everything is working the way it should here. We've got our military information, tech level looks good, maintenance level is good there. We're number 8th worldwide, our monarch is William III, obviously. And our budgeting, yeah, we've got our stability maxed out because we want to improve our budget, our stability quite as quickly as possible. But then we'll probably go back to researching some naval technology because that's probably going to be pretty important. Apparently we just accidentally scrolled a little bit. We've got some problems with pirates over there, but everything else is okay. No rebels going on, although, you know, you can't ever trust the Welsh, so let's go ahead and move our Grand Army over here onto Wales. Meanwhile, our Royal Navy, everything is looking okay. We should probably position them into the English Channel just to make sure there. We're going to move them into the Straits of Dover. And, yeah, everything else is looking pretty good. Of course, we can scan over to the New World over here. Okay, good. Our Royal Navy has moved. That's excellent. Take a look at Manhattan, make sure everything's looking okay there. We're trading in furs. You know, we can probably bring up our colonization menu and pick Manhattan. We're going to send some more colonists over there to see if we can't expand our little settlement over here. Oh, we've discovered the Amazons. That's great. Stolen rudders. Our victorious navies have stolen the rudders of blank. We have access to all their explorations. Oh! Rudders would be like the ship diaries or maps or whatever. That's quite handy. And some of you at this point may have figured out that this is not a video for Europa Universalis 4. In fact, this is for just Europa Universalis, period. The first one. Well, not really the first one even, actually, because before Europa Universalis, there was Europa Universalis Crown of the North, which was really a renaming of something called Sverige. All right, or actually the third one. So all of this was originally based on a board game, and there was a small group of developers who were hired on to create a video game version of this. And eventually there were sequels and this and that, and eventually it got to the point where one of these games was rather successful. And that's basically what led to an independent Paradox Development Studios who were able to sort of grab the rights for this game and make the franchise that we all know and love, and then, you know, from there go on to create something like Victoria and Hearts of Iron and Crusader Kings and Crusader Kings 2 and all the other sequels that came out eventually, Pirates Sighted. It's kind of interesting to look back at this game, this original copy of Europa Universalis, and see all the mechanics that really survived throughout the years, right? Like maintenance levels on your land and navy. The sliders, which survived all the way through up until Europa Universalis 4. And while the sliders clearly worked, I really do think the system in EU4 is going to be considerably better. You know, income calculations is there. Right, okay, our troops have moved to Wales. I'm happy we actually don't have the pop-ups for that sort of information anymore, although sometimes it would be handy. I'm sure we can actually turn that on probably. It's one of the message settings I expect. We can see all of our alliances and relations. We can go and talk to the slimy French and see what they think about things. I think we can view country. Offer peace. Apparently we're at war. Oh, they rejected our white peace. Well, go away. We should taunt you a second time. Colonization, which is still there, right? We can go over to the Americas where we've got our colonies. Right, and do that. We failed to make an alliance with Portugal. We've been penalized 6 victory points. So apparently we have missions that at this point give you actual victory points. There's an actual scoring system in this game that would be very different. Conquer the Baleares? I don't even know where this is. Why did it zoom me here? It's bizarre. And yeah, with this victory point system, and actually when you set up a game, it's quite interesting because when you set up the game, you can do it, well, it'll just end at a certain year, and then all the nations are ranked based on how many victory points they've accumulated. And then there's another victory mode, which is just the first person to reach like 500 victory points. And that's actually kind of cool. I like the idea of being given these missions and having to meet them to gain victory points. It's quite interesting, although I suppose the downside of doing something like that is that it does take away some of the flexibility of the player. Like in later versions of EU, you can really just play it any way you want. Of course, it's always fine for you to ignore victory points altogether, but players obviously like to win, and you're going to want to be number one, so you're going to try to do a bunch of those at the same time. So, is it good or bad that they got rid of the victory points? Probably good. Wow, that is really jerky. I'm having to play this in an emulator, which is why you're going to see these little menus at the top and bottom. I suppose it's possible it would have run in Windows 7, but I just assumed that it wouldn't, so I've got this running in Windows XP under an emulator. But I don't know, I suppose I should have tried it in Windows 7. I just figured the recording wouldn't work very well, since this does not seem to do windowed mode, so I figured this was probably a better idea. But the bright side is, this game is actually available on Gamersgate.com. It's currently on sale for half price. It's gone from $1 to 50 cents. So if you want to try the original Europa Universalis, you can do so. In fact, if you want to try the game that came before Europa Universalis 1, and that is called Europa Universalis Crown of the North, you can also buy that from Gamersgate, and it's also only going to cost you 50 cents. In that game, you can only play as three nations, as I believe. It's during the events of a war in Scandinavia, and I think you can just play as Denmark, Norway, or Sweden. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the situation. There's also a sale going on for Europa Universalis 2 if you haven't played it. I believe it's currently $5. Anyway, that's it. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.